Hello everyone, I'm here to introduce the new RopeCAM version 24.2 where they've added a oscillating chip breaker function. And anyone that doesn't know what RopeCAM is, it's going to use a standard turning tool to do a series of threading can cycles at different positions to eventually cut out some kind of a thread form. And in this case we're doing a buttress thread, and you can see the dimensions here. Keep in mind it's all metric. Cutting parameters like the depth of cut and the step over. And you'll see in the simulation it'll show each position. So that's what it does on a grand scheme. And the new function they've added just requires a check mark here for the oscillating chip breaker. And that has to be using G33 and X and Z on separate lines. But it does set that automatically. So you can press OK, and you can see that it's changed those values if needed. And that will activate the chip breaker. This is going to be doing just the roughing so that it's a little clearer to watch. And you can see there just the roughing steps with the step overs and the step downs. And when we post the code, you'll see a batch of can cycles that are actually going in and out of the work, which you'll see in a simulation in a second, followed by a straight cut. And that is going to break the chip for us. So if we look in Simco, you'll see that it does just that, where it's going up and down as it does the threading cycle. And that is going to go into the work and out of the work. And each time it exits, that chip will break. Then it's followed by this straight cut, which will also break the chip since the dips are to the root. And so there's valleys there. And when the tool hits the valley, that chip will break. So this can be applied to a variety of different preferences, which you'll see in this video. And it just does that and repeats. So we'll take a look next at a tapered thread. And this is 7-degree taper. Take a look at the roughing and finishing first. And you can see it's on an angle there. Go back to roughing, just again to make it a little easier to see. And it'll do the same thing. Once again, just entering and exiting and breaking that chip, which is very useful for preventing stringy chips, where you might have to even stop the machine and go in and take the chips out when they wrap around the part. And that means it's also good for things like lights out machining. And there you can see it doing the same kind of thing on a tapered OD thread. Entering and exiting, and then straight. And just rinse and repeat. Every single pass will have that nature to it. Where if you don't have the oscillating chip breaker on, of course all of the passes are just a straight can cycle. The usual start to finish style. And now we'll look at a ID thread, just a straight one. And you can see in the simulation the roughing, it'll do the can cycles to rough out and leave a certain amount of material. And then you can also have a finishing pass, which we're not looking at in the Simco simulation, but that would usually have a finer step over and just finish the profile. And here you can see the chip breaker. And the whole concept of RopeCAM is to use some kind of a threading tool or a turning tool, a grooving tool, but a tool that doesn't have the exact form. It would have to have the right amount of relief that it wouldn't gouge into the thread form, of course. But using this can really cut down on things like vibrations, where you may have a large insert that's the form of the thread, That may work in some situations, but not all. You may also have to pay for some kind of a custom tool. So the last example is going to be a ID thread again, but with a taper. You can imagine that you don't have to have an exact form, and there are different threads available in RopeCAM. So there's rope threads, the buttress, and some others. So if you get some kind of a weird thread, as long as you just have a standard turning tool, you can give it the tip radius, and away you go. So here it is, in and out one pass, and straight on the next to cut the remainder. Each one breaking those chips. If you're interested at all in learning more, feel free to reach out to us. You can visit our website or give us a call. We can set you up with a demo, and you can buy the software if you'd like and download it at our website as well. So hopefully you enjoyed this video and this new oscillating chip breaker function.